The original reason that I wanted to mod an Xbox is because I wanted to put an SD card in there. And I wanted to be able to load my games off an SD card. And that just never worked. And it's not really even for a lack of trying. After the video, I bought other things like this one. And this thing, yeah, it just does not work. The Xbox just does not want to know this thing. So, you know, it's whatever. The other one that I had before, I actually repurposed that into PlayStation 2. But would you believe? After searching, I found the solution. So here's what we're going to need for this. This is an actual tutorial. This is the hard drive. This is an SD card on a board with an IDE interface on the end. And the people are even nice enough to include a little micro SD adapter. Isn't that nice? So what this thing is going to do is it's going to convert the signals from IDE into SD card. And I know this is going to work because I've done it before. Next, we need a 2.5 inch to 3.5 inch IDE adapter. And that's because the IDE cable coming off the Xbox is a 3.5 inch, whereas this thing is very much a 2.5 inch interface. So it is absolutely necessary to get a laptop 2.5 to desktop 3.5 IDE hard drive adapter converter. And this one actually comes with the power cable. And of course for this we're going to need a micro SD card. This is one that I have on hand that I haven't opened yet. So, you know, why not? Let's go ahead and use that. We're also going to need a screwdriver with a T10 and T20 head, or T10 and T20 screwdrivers. And of course a PC, so that we can actually write the software. But with all that said, I'm Dark Lord Elliot, and let's get started. Now, before we get too far into this, I really should mention one thing. This is not going to work if you do not have a modded Xbox. You need to have an Xbox that is hard modded. Now, that can be a TSOP flash, it can be a mod chip, doesn't really matter. But the reason is because no matter how many times I've tried with any number of USB to SD card converters, I cannot figure out how to write the password information onto a micro SD card. I'm not even sure if it supports that. So given that I don't know how to do that, and the Xbox outright requires a password if it is not modded or soft modded, it is not possible to do this with an Xbox that is not hard modded. I'm sorry, that is the way that it is. However, modding an Xbox is not that hard, and in my case, a version 1.0 Xbox was just two little bits of solder, one on the top, one on the bottom. Very easy to do. So first thing that we're going to want to do is take the Xbox apart. And to do this is just a matter of 6 screws. If this is a new or unopened Xbox, these 2 will be under the label. That's fine. And these are custom feet that I put, otherwise these will be under the feet. So yeah, do with that as you will. Okay. So now with the screws taken out, you just have to lift the top. Now, if this is a new-ish Xbox that's never been opened before, it will have a little bit of, I don't know, tightness, I guess you would call it, in the lid, and that's because these things will want to stick in place. These are the screw posts that actually hold the console together. Now, this is something that you will not have in your Xbox, I guarantee it. An 80-wire IDE cable, a SATA converter board, and a SATA hard drive, all of which are getting taken out. Well, except for the 80-wire IDE cable, I'm going to keep that. Alright, so now we're going to change out the screwdriver head for a T10. There are a couple T15 screws in here, but a T10 will be able to get those just fine. So in my case, since I have this plastic hard drive thing in here, that's just the way that it is, that's just the way it's going to be. And I only have these 2 screws on the left hand side. of the adapter board. And then this thing comes out. Won't be needing this anymore. Whoop. So here's this thing. It doesn't matter where it goes. In there, wherever is fine. If you want to tape it down, I do recommend getting some electrical tape. This is what I have on hand. I like to get colored electrical tape because I do more than just projects with this stuff. Green for ground, red for live, blue for live, because I live in the US. I hear some places use blue for neutral. That's weird. So IDE always has one that's missing. Here it's here, and here it's over here. So you just match the one that's missing to the one that's missing, and there you go. Fortunately, it's always on the same side. So it's here, on here, and it's on the same side up here. Both are on the top in this case. And you might be wondering, well, hold on, there's no notch or anything for this to go in. So how do you know which way it goes? Well, in this particular case, it happens to have one that's plugged up. And that's on the side that has no notch. So the side that has no notch is going to go here. An easy way to remember with this particular board, though, is the side that has text on it, 2.5-inch hard drive adapter. That's the side that gets the notch. And on this side, that is it. That's all you have to do. Once the two adapters are in place, that's all there is to it. Now, the rest of the thing that we have to do is on the computer. So let's jump over there. Right, so once you have this window open for Fat Explorer, what you need to do is go to Formatting Tools, and then Original Xbox HDD, and it's going to populate a list of all the drives in your computer that can possibly be an original Xbox hard drive. Now, in this particular case, I have this one, and it knows that I previously had it as a hard drive. That's because I'm doing this a little bit later. But just to make sure, this is physical drive 4 at 115.87 gigabytes. So you can just go over here to Computer Management, and right here, New Volume F, 115.87 gigabytes. That happens to be disk number 4. So this is the one we want. Next. And since I'm using Surbios, I'm going to click that. If you are not using Surbios, then you'll have to click the one that corresponds to you, Titan or Stellar or whatever. But yeah, Surbios, as far as I know, is the best. And you can set it up as primary or secondary hard drive. We're going to set it up as primary. And here are the drives. The extra partition F is going to be set up as 108.42 gigabytes, which is very nice. And then all we have to do is copy the drive, which is what I have here of C, onto the C drive. I do not believe you need to do this with E, but yeah, I'm just going to do C. And there you have it. Depending on the speed of your converter, it should take no less than about a minute to pre-write all this data. And even if it doesn't do that, you can go up into the Devices tab in the upper left corner there, over here. I can't do it right now because it's writing. But then you can have direct access to whichever partition you want, and you can really screw stuff up if you don't know what you're doing. But fortunately, with a custom flash BIOS, it's not dangerous. And then Devices, go into here, load device. It'll say that you have extra partitions. If you want, you can try to remove them, but it's never done anything for me, so this keeps showing up, probably because it's on a USB SD card reader thing in the first place, but I don't think that those partitions are even there. So I just click don't. And then we wait for these to show up. The order is largely random that it's going to be, but I think it has something to do with how it's formatted. But we're going to do extra on M, and there we go. It just opens up a nice little window right there, and this is format M. So you'll see right here it says 108 gigabytes, which is what it's supposed to be. And since I'm using Windows 11, I can open up a new tab. And then in there, I just copy over attach.xbe. I put 00 in front just because that way it stays on top. And then I can put whatever ROM I want. So we'll say, for instance, that I want Crash to Insanity. And there you go. And it'll copy over at whatever speed the SD card actually recognizes as its speed, instead of whatever would be the case over FTP. So it is pretty fast. So now we're ready to go. Just eject the USB. Plug that right into here. And then we can tuck away the IDE cable however you like, but it really doesn't matter right now. And then this just plugs on here. Just like that. And we're ready to go. Now, actually getting this thing tucked back in here is a little bit of a problem because these cables are quite often folded in such ways that it's designed to go back up here like this and then down or something. And I'll be honest, I just don't really like the way that looks. I'll figure it out more later. But for right now, okay, there we go. All right, let's see it work. There we go. And see how quickly that boots? It's amazing. It's truly amazing. And because we preloaded the data, you literally have everything that you already had. It's brilliant. It's so nice. So nice. And that's how you do it. It's very simple. So now, what if I were to tell you that this thing wasn't only for use with the Xbox? What if I told you there was another retro game console that you could use this with? This is my PlayStation 2. So I have these two hard drives that I pulled out of an Xbox. So let's go ahead and put one of these onto the regular, official IDE version network adapter. The SCPH 10281 right there. Well, simple. All you gotta do is you just gotta put the... What? Okay, well if you put the... What the hell? This doesn't fit. Yeah, it's a problem with specifically Western Digital drives I've found. Yeah, if you look at the two of them side by side, there is a marginal but noticeable difference between the IDE interface and the Molex power interface. So even though it's really small, like only 1/4 of an inch or so, it's enough to where any Seagate drive that's from another Xbox will just happily fit on here. No problem. But let's say you don't have a Seagate drive because, like me, you just don't like Seagate. Or all you have is Western Digital drives and, well, or maybe you don't even have any IDE hard drives to begin with. Well, you know what you do have? One of these. So it looks like the one missing is supposed to be on the bottom, just using a regular hard drive. So that's what I'm going to go for. The one missing is on the bottom. And then you see the second problem right there. These things are in the way. They're actually bending the pins. And so it's very much the case that you need to like take this off and figure out a way to get something around this. But honestly, taking this off and just being able to put this on like this and then figuring out the rest later is far more preferable than the alternative. In fact, you could probably bend these to 90 degrees or something, although I would only recommend doing that once because metal fatigue is very real. Ideally, what I would like is kind of an adapter on like a ribbon or something that pulled its 5-volt power from that ribbon so that it wasn't just kind of its own 2-pin thing here. But, you know, it is what it is. But for the Xbox, this is great. This works. Anyway, I will show you right quick, just as a little added bonus, the program that you need for this. Right, so the program that you need for this one is called Free HD Boot, or Free Hard Drive Boot. And basically it is a fork of Free MC Boot, or Free Memory Card Boot. So this actually comes with quite a bit of stuff. The actual archive after compression is almost 3 gigabytes. And before, it's actually quite a reasonable few megabytes. Now, the reason for this is because a lot of the stuff is actually program data. But, yeah, so you need this image file, which, it's big. It's very big. In fact, it's the majority of what a lot of this even is. So, this is actually 2 programs at once. The first one is called HDD Raw Copy. Now, using the same information that we got earlier, using this, we're going to want disk 4 that is 115.87 gigabytes. All right, keep that in mind. So we're selecting the copy from here. So we double-click and go to the file, which is an IMG archive. We open that, click continue, and then we write it to drive F, and it says 124.41 gigabytes. That is a bit of a discrepancy, but that one is down to gigabytes versus gigabytes. That's a fascinating topic that you can look up on your own time. I'm not going over it again. Click start, okay. And this will take about a minute to write. Alright, now it is done. It doesn't give you any indication that it is done other than saying task complete, but it does let you do the whole thing over again if you want to. But at this point we can just go ahead and click close. Now, the next program we need is WinHeap, or WinHeap, or however you like. So this one is specifically to load ROMs onto drives that are formatted for the PlayStation 2. So right here I have 2 of them that are formatted for the PlayStation 2. This one I'm actively using for stuff, and this one I'm not. Interestingly, you'll see up here that this drive has negative 370 gigabytes, and this one has negative 184.99 gigabytes. So that's interesting, but we'll use drive 4 for right now. And so we can add images, add image files. I'll use Crazy Taxi just because I know it's a very small game. And it'll ask you, okay, what is it? And since it's a queue file, it has a bin file that's attached to it. As long as the queue points to the correct file, which you need to be sure that does, no issue. This particular one is a CD game. It doesn't need any of the modes. I've tested it already. It just works. And you see, you get some ridiculous speeds, like 30, 40 megabytes per second. He's using a lowercase b, which is megabits, but, you know, it's megabytes. It's pretty obvious, based on the speed that it actually is going. So once it's done, it will populate a new partition of the hard drive called Crazy Taxi. And if you don't like something, you want to change it, you can edit the stuff right here and it'll rewrite it. So that's cool. We're done here. We can just exit, and then we can go and eject that letter, and this will just work in our PlayStation 2. But with all that said, I'm Dark Lord Elliot. And now to do a little bit of trickery. Don't tell anyone.